Tacky's hot nuts.
A real... I was about to lick it. It's all going to be all right.
Oh, no, I'm not worried.
Hey, Marty,
Can I
you're a
speak?
dickhead. That's all.
BMW...
Illegal. So you didn't peg it?
No, I didn't peg it. I pegged it maybe 3 months ago.
Welcome to the Unicorn Circuit, your weekly dose of car news. Is that even legal? Fanking your town crap car. Our new section called...
I can't remember what we called it.
I can't remember what we called it. So
I think it's car window shopping.
Car shopping. Plus random eat bag, mail bag. Quick shout out, if you're in Sydney this week, we do have a drift night. It's Wednesday night. There are still some driver tickets left. You can also do passenger. You can also do a hot lap with a pro plus spectator tickets.
Yep.
There's a thing up there right now and a thing down there below. The ones that always sell out are the driving tickets. So click on there, grab yourself a driver's ticket. That includes merch as well, doesn't it?
There's no grassroots motorsport. Yes, there is.
There is
come
tonight.
Come hang out. It's going to be a fun night. Last time was a good time. So come on down. Hopefully the weather's good. But you know what? It's a wet skid pan. So even if it's raining, guess what? We're still doing skids. It's going to be a good time. Bring an umbrella.
We also have the 240Z posters. They are available, strictly limited time only. We've started shipping them out. We send them anywhere in the world. We individually autograph them. If you've already got one, good on you. Otherwise, consider grabbing one. It helps fund the show and keep it mad. Martin, we've got a huge show.
Massive. About the same size as normal, but otherwise massive. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's just bigger that way rather than that way. You know what I mean? Like if it was a baguette, it'd be
It's
like
like eating
baguette.
a banana sideways.
Yeah. Or a kebab.
You get the same amount.
Yes.
It just feels girthier because you're
Feels
eating
different.
it in the
Like
wrong
bananas
direction.
have been developed over millions of years to be efficiently eaten one way, but there's no reason you can't eat them the other way.
Yeah, you can eat them backwards.
Sideways.
Some people think that you've got to grab the top and open it that way.
Not what monkeys do.
No, monkeys don't do that.
Gorillas.
They go, don't they? They do a different thing. Martin, how are you, mate?
I'm good.
You have a good weekend?
Yeah, I did actually. I had a good weekend. I went skateboarding.
I saw you doing some turfing.
I did that as well, yeah, in my truck. I had to fix some grass. I got some grass run over. I just have this thing where Google Maps and all the mapping things think that my driveway is a street. And so people drive down my street, which is actually my driveway, and then when they get down the bottom of my street and see a shed and a couple of shitbox K cars go, oh no, and then they do a big U-turn in my yard.
Oh no.
Well, a 3-point turn, because not that big, a 3-point turn, and then they drive out.
And wreck your grass.
It happens all the time.
That
yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, and I've stopped a couple and been like, why are you driving down my driveway? They're like, oh, the map said that to get to that house, I have to go that way. And so this is something that I've been dealing with for a long time. And the upshot is I had to fix the turf, so I fixed the turf. I used my little K-truck, went and bought a couple of rolls of grass and just fixed it, because that's the best way
Martin,
to
do
do
you
it.
have to aerate turf? Or is
You
it
can.
pre-aerated?
No, you don't. It's pretty good, actually. Just stick it down and heaps of water. That's the trick.
Don't you have to peg it?
I'm not sure how you would do that.
With the rolly peg
Oh,
machine?
yeah, with the aerator thing, yeah. Core
Yeah.
aeration, that's called.
Oh.
This is not a show about grass. Unless you want it to be, it can
it?
be, but I've run out of stuff to talk about in about 34 minutes.
I thought the whole idea was it'd roll out these pegs of dirt and actually give you cylinders, like plugs of
Plugs,
dirt.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's called core aeration. You are taking a core and you're chucking it out, and then the oxygen and all your nutrients can get into the dirt.
So you didn't peg it?
No, I didn't peg it. I pegged it maybe 3 months ago.
Okay, so, and is that how, because then once the hole has been pegged, then you can fill it up
But
with...
I got sick of like hiring the machines because they're quite expensive and real heavy actually and hard to use, and they're for other reasons they're sometimes not great. So I made my own one. I bought some of the tines off the internet that I use for repairing those machines, and I got a Subaru WRX flywheel, and I got an old wheelbarrow, and I blended them all together with a welder, and now I've got like basically essentially a wheelbarrow that you can do your grass
Martin,
with.
I'd like
You know
a video about
a
that.
good 50% of people watching this give no shits for grass, maybe less actually.
Martin, could you make a video about that thing? Even if it's just photos?
Yeah.
And just stick it on your social or something?
Yeah,
stick
sure.
it on your Instagram or on this channel?
Yeah,
Where's
whichever.
it gonna go?
I don't know, somewhere.
We'll put it somewhere so you can see it. Everybody, massive week in news this week.
I find growing stuff quite relaxing. Watching stuff grow. Maybe this is getting old, I don't know, but I just like it because like everything's so high speed. I like when you put a plant or a vegetable or something in the ground and you see it grow. I think that's kind of cool. Something very like basic human nature about that since we became farmers.
Yeah.
Once we stopped being nomadic and we started to become farmers, I reckon that's really built into our DNA.
Well, Martin, if you look at the longest life expectancy in the world, one of which is Okinawan people, certainly once they get to an age, retirement's a new invention, by the way. It's a new thing. People didn't used to retire; they kept working. But anyway, basically, what they do is different people in the community. Kind of involved in growing different kind of vegetables, and then they do a swap. You swap me a potato and I give you a carrot. Everyone's involved in the community, they're growing stuff, they're contributing, and they're staying social. And that is the key to longevity.
Guess who doesn't get a taste of that?
The tax man.
The tax man.
Yeah.
Now let's have a market instead, but use money and then give us the receipts and then give us some of that money because you traded that thing.
We haven't even started the show yet.
We haven't even
got
kicked
to
the
conspiracies
news.
yet.
Get there.
I had a funny thing happen. No, I did have a
What'd
funny
you do?
thing happen.
Did you go skating?
No,
Oh,
Martin.
yeah, I can't kickflip. I can ollie, sort of. I can't quite
Can
kickflip.
you?
Yeah, I can kind of ollie, not that well. And I'm not a skater by any means, but I skated a lot when I was a teenager because it's just how you got around. And so, yeah, I just found this old skateboard and I'm like, I'm going to take that for a ride. So I took it for a ride.
Here's the idea of an ollie. Here's what I think you're meant to do. So you like this, you're meant to flip that down.
Yeah, it's hard.
And then jump. And then your front foot follows that down and then land on it again.
Yeah, correct.
When I try and do it, it just goes like this.
Yeah, because it's actually two things. It's a kick down
And a jump up
and
at
a
the same
jump,
time.
and that's the
then
hard
a control with the front foot.
And then yeah, you got to have the front foot control to level it out and feel the ball with that foot and then drop it again.
Can't do it.
Skating's hard and dangerous.
Can't do it. Martin, I competed in a CrossFit competition on the weekend.
Oh, tell us about the competition.
The most interesting thing about that, Martin, was that it was at the International Convention Centre.
Are you sore?
Everywhere. I was at the International Convention Centre in Sydney, in one of the halls. I can't remember which one. And there's kind of workouts every 2 hours. And then I came up to get some fresh air, and lots of people at the CrossFit competition, a couple of people came and said g'day, got some selfies, 3 or 4 selfies. But then I came out, and when I was up there, just, can I get a photo? And then someone, oh, can I get a photo? Can I get a photo? None of these people were there. So I was like, what are these people doing here? And eventually I went, I'm going to go and get some food. And then I went past, and this is the sign that I saw to my right. It was the Sydney EV show.
And that's why you were going out for fresh air.
Some of the rain fingers were there.
You were going out for fresh air.
I was going out for fresh air.
So you had fresh air, but wherever the person next to the coal power plant, not so much.
They didn't have. But what people were saying to me, because I took multiple changes of clothes, I was like dripping wet, disgusted, like that, carrying around a water bottle. And people would go, so I just finished competing, and I come out and people go, how was the show? Do I look like the kind of guy that would get this sweaty and this excited over an EV?
Oh, there's people that would.
No, I wouldn't. And other people there, no one was sweaty. There was a lot of polo shirts and a lot of light-coloured slacks.
Yeah.
You know, like when we do a car show, blue jeans, black jeans, shorts, maybe some cargos,
hoodies.
if there's some of my people.
Yeah.
There, heaps of light-coloured slacks.
Yes.
So fawn, I think, is the colour, slacks.
Yep.
And what some people wear is they wear a light-coloured, a light brown chino. And then a darker brown shoe.
Yes.
And then a salmon-coloured polo shirt.
Yes.
And there was lots of that going on. I'm all for anyone doing whatever they do, but as you know, like my fashion's terrible.
But so's that.
So's that. So I guess we're all the same. Let's get it. Mum, we haven't even started the show yet.
No, but this is good. This is interesting. So what I want to just chuck in about the EV show is, so I remember, I think maybe pre-COVID, so we're talking like 5 years ago, I remember going to the Sydney EV show, and it was in like the smallest pavilion of Olympic Park where the Easter show is, where they normally just have the bunny rabbits.
Yes.
Like it's literally the size of a
like a
McDonald's or something. And there's a couple of dudes in there going, check out my homemade EV, which I actually thought was cool. But then they're like, go for a test drive in a Tesla. And they had a couple of Model 3s, which had only been out for a little while, doing laps of the car park. And that was the EV show with like 100 people there.
Yeah, right.
And now it's at the International Conference Centre in the middle of the city.
Yeah, in Darling Harbour.
And pumped. Yeah. And why, people? We'll talk about that later.
Anyway, welcome. It's great to have you here. You know what? I'm going to have a moment of sincerity just for a second for the 38 of you that are out there. I really appreciate that you spend your time with us watching this show. This is not the biggest show on the internet.
No.
It's not
it's
a
niche,
massive
man.
podcast. It's not a huge channel. But there's a small group of people that spend your valuable time. There's hundreds, thousands of things you can watch. There's streaming platforms. There's social media. There's different things.
Yep.
There's a very small group of you that spend your time with us. We really appreciate it. And so thank you for hanging out with us.
And it is fun. The two-way nature of the comment section is always very enjoyable to read your comments and see the keywords. What do we call word of the weeks?
Yes.
All that sort of stuff. Seeing some of that feedback. We often learn from you guys as well. So thanks for writing in the comments and keeping up. And we do enjoy making this. We enjoy the regularity of it weekly, even though it's very rarely weekly. Although lately it has been. Trying to, because there's also been heaps of cool stuff on.
Which we're about to talk about. But what I will say, Martin, we should do I want to do a blind survey for a second, which means you've got to close your eyes.
Oh, I do. Okay.
And I'm going to close my eyes as well.
Yep.
And then raise your hand if it's correct.
Yep.
Eyes closed. And
maybe
I'm
a finger,
not
because
gonna
a hand might be obvious. Can you tell my hand's going up?
Yeah, because it almost hit my face.
Oh.
I was about to lick it. So, Martin, blind survey. Put your hand up if you spend more time looking at and consuming the comment section of the Unicorn Circuit versus the main channel. All right. Now, keep your eyes closed. Mine are closed too. Put your hand up if you spend more time looking at the comments on the main channel. That's one each. Not that I was looking, because it was a blind survey.
I read both. I actually read both.
No, but I think I spend a bit more time looking at the unicorn ones.
Unicorn's got some pretty interesting angles, especially when we go through our conspiracies and some of our car news as well, which is what we should actually get into. Should we do that? Car news.
Yes, car news. Welcome to the news. First up in this week's news, a brand new episode has just dropped on the main channel. It is the first start of the RB in the 240Z. I said at the start of the video, we're going to start it, and then shockingly, you'll have to watch it and find out. There is one thing that I wanted to say, something that has lit up a little bit in the comments, and that is a fact. It's a fact that I got wrong, and while doing some of the voiceover for the episode, I thought lots of people arguing about what RB26DETT means. So in the first version of when I'm writing the voiceover, quick thing of how Mighty Car Mods work. There is no script when we're shooting in the studio at all, so we just make stuff up. There's no bit of paper, there's no whatever. Okay, go, record, and off we go. When we're doing the voiceover and going afterwards, some of that is ad-libbed, but some of it, if it's really technical, it's about a car, then we take notes. So when I decided to do a little bit where I would talk about what RB26DETT actually means. So in my little notes, my text edit, I went through and I wrote down exactly what everything stands for. And I even rang Andrew Hawkins, who was in SEMA, where is that? In Vegas?
Vegas, yeah.
And I said, he has a channel, Motive DVD. I would say he's one of the country's leading experts on the RB, Motive Video.
It used to be DVD when it was DVDs, now it's Motive Video.
Sorry, it's Motive Video on YouTube. He's worked on some of our videos with us. I would say he's probably one of the eminent RB experts in the country. So I rang him because I'm professional, and I was like, just want to clarify all of these details with you that I've got. And he's like, yes, this is correct. By the way, this is the quarter mile time. So I kind of did my due diligence. And then when I looked and I went, RB26D, okay, that's dual, that's a camshaft, that's fuel ignition, that's fuel whatever. I went, it's actually a little bit boring. So then what I did was I went and wrote a second version where everything was completely ridiculous. So like R stood for red, D was dinosaur, E was for extinction. And so but then when I looked at that, I was like, that just seems like a joke.
Yeah.
It seems dumb.
Yeah, it's silly.
So then what I decided to do was then do a version of it that was accurate, but all wrong. So people would go, oh, that's kind of right, but that's kind of wrong. And then I went, that's dumb as well. So then I ended up doing an amalgamation of all of those versions to make one, so that some fact was right. One of them was elephant, which was dumb. Anyway, as it came out in the video, there is no dual overhead crankshaft in the RB. That's all.
BMW.
What, Martin?
What?
What, Martin?
No, it's good. For the three people who were wondering, they've got their answer. But that's what Unicorn Circuit's
No, but
people.
everyone else is like, it's a joke. But a few people were going, hey, Moog, there is no dual overhead crankshaft in the RB. It's a camshaft.
Yeah. There is an overhead crankshaft if the car's inverted. And Top Gun people will know what I'm talking about.
But not dual.
If you had two RBs, one in the boot and one in the front, and you were in upside down, flying through the air, you have a dual overhead crankshaft.
Yes.
Except it's technically not over your head. Well, it is over your head because you're this way and it's that
But
way.
Martin, I think I failed at being funny.
What do you mean? No.
No,
such thing.
I did.
No. Really?
Because I said that
Probably because people are used to the voiceover being, because that's one of the reasons that it's in voiceover, because sometimes I'll be like, I think it's this, but I want to say it and get it wrong, because then this and nerds will light up and be like, no, you got it wrong, and then they'll go and shave their neck beards. But like, that's usually what's in voice. So maybe just because it was in voiceover and not in person, maybe that's why people thought maybe you were tripping.
But like, I actually checked my information with the experts, and then made the elephant. No, but no one mentioned that the E was an elephant.
Isn't this a line where you're always going between entertainment and facts? Because let's be honest, like the facts of how the twin turbo system on a March Super Turbo is interesting for about 2 minutes. But like doing a skid, what did we do massive skids against? The BRZ in the Super Turbo? Like that was great.
Yes, that was
just
great.
Pure entertainment.
Yeah.
And so which is it? And when it's both, it's amazing. Sometimes it can't be both.
Yeah. The point is that I got the information incorrect.
Oh, okay.
And presented it incorrectly.
Yes, as
including the elephant.
Yes. Well, you said elephant though, right?
Yeah, but no one cares about the elephant because that's obvious. I feel like I've added to the disinformation.
Oh, it's not.
Because what I could have done is I could have just said the facts exactly as you could get on a website. But I decided not to do that, and therefore people are going, that's wrong, and therefore have I become part of the problem?
No,
because half the comments are going, he's joking, he said elephant, and the other one's like, no, he's wrong.
Yeah, I think disinformation is more actively trying to sow seeds of shit that you know is wrong.
I'm not trying to do that.
Which I don't think you're doing. I think it's an attempt to be funny, and I would argue that
attempt is the word.
Comedians and people who are trying to be funny are not sowing disinformation when they say the sky is pink. Isn't that funny?
Wagons?
BMW have released information about the M5 Touring 2025. I just want you to look at that.
I give that 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Does it tickle your, like, see how they've still got the weird, ugly kidney thing on the front, but they've fixed it?
They've fixed it.
They've made the rest of it more aggressive.
Yeah, and so you know what? The bunny tooth thing, I don't think worked, and everybody goes, in time, we'll get used to it.
No.
I don't think we did get used to it. It looked good in black, and the reason that it looks good in black is because when the whole car's black and the grille is black, you can't sell how ugly it really is.
Correct.
People didn't like it. They just didn't like it, and you can call it for whatever you like. People don't like them.
But it has evolved, and I still look at the front of it and be like, but when you start adding, like, that's a nice looking car at the back.
Yeah.
Like, keep it simple. I mean, I know RS6s...
Looks almost as good at the back as the new M2. Have you seen it? Have you seen the new M2?
Do I need to? 2025 M2?
Just 2025 M2 rear end and just have a look.
All right, let's go.
They added some weird kind of square kind of action to it. Just have a little look at what's going on there.
2025, there you go. Whoa, okay. Is that what you mean?
No, look for like a 2022 model or something like that.
Oh, okay, sorry, 2022.
Just have a little look. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of square sort of stuff going on. And really kind of angular and strange. But then the front of it doesn't. It looks like the front of the car was designed by someone different than the back of it. And then they just kind of went, you know what? Because the front of it, I kind of go, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
but then those big square things, don't know about that.
The big kidney things are kind of fine. Anyway, this M5 Touring, why is it interesting? Because we have a bit of a lack of wagons in Australia, particularly.
Not popular, not on trend.
Not as popular as they were.
Not
SUVs have taken a lot of that away. Also, we're not on Autobahns doing 225 k's an hour, so it's less of a thing. I know when I have been in Europe and you just see wagons everywhere for whatever reason, they make sense. Just like in America, mega trucks make sense. What truck did you drive in America and Texas?
The Rivian R1T.
Is that like hundreds of thousands of dollars? Do you remember?
100 and something,
yeah.
I think. But in Australia, they'll cost a whole lot more.
Want to take a stab at how much this wagon costs?
In Australia, $320,000.
Close. $263,900
Before on roads?
On roads.
Yeah, so about 300
But it's
grand.
cheaper than the previous M5 competition, which was $273 before it was discontinued. So it looks like this is kind of RS6 money as well. But why is this interesting? $250,000, you want a wagon, it's like kind of in Australia, it's either RS6 or this. And there's people out there that are buying
Hey Martin, here's my question.
It's like,
who has $250,000 to spend on a car? They will sell. Who hasn't? Like, who has the money? I personally don't know anybody that would have that kind of money spare just to go and buy one of those, unless they are a maybe like working in banking or finance or something like that.
Yep.
The people that I know that are kind of working as like teachers, artists, actors,
Yes.
we know some counsellors. Who else do we know? People we know, some people working around car
Professionals,
things,
yeah.
professional people.
Business owners,
I
small
don't think
business
they could
owners.
afford it.
I also think maybe it's that, do I want to spend, a quarter of my net worth or all my savings on just this, which is going to depreciate. Like COVID days are over, people like this stuff is not going up in value.
Unless they're getting a loan. It's possible that they just get a loan, but then car interest rates are right up now as well again.
Yeah.
Like they used to be,
Yeah.
didn't it used to be a thing, 0.25%, 1%. Now it's like 10%.
I think it's that thing we often talk about where you'd have to be able to drop $250,000
And
the
not
way
feel
you or
it.
I would spend $500 on a car off Marketplace and go like, that was good buying.
Yeah.
Like, but the exponential amount of how much more. I think it's honestly, I think it's either quiet achievement. Also, don't put it past older money. I mean, like, there's generations of people that have had prosperity since, the 1900. Like, there's family businesses and dynasties and stuff like that. And maybe for them, it's like, I need a wagon. And are they going to go and buy a $20,000 Toyota wagon?
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not. There's so many zeros in your bank account, you don't even know what that number means. Then you would just buy the premium thing. And there's an argument to be said that luxury stuff generally is really, really hot at the moment anyway. Like, some of these Louis Vuitton brands in Bulgaria and all these brands are like worth more than Nike and
Would
stuff.
you buy, let's just say you got a scratchy right now and scratched it and you got $1 million. Would you buy one of those?
See, interesting you say that. $1 million? No. $100 million? Is that like 1.5%? Like it's
Yeah.
it's point something percent of it. It's a small amount. And I think that ratio matters. But then again, would I also want to be seen driving around in a brand new M5? This is what I like about wagons, though, is that your average person
That's
would see
not that embarrassing.
Would see that and just be like, it's kind of shiny and has big wheels and looks European. And you've got, the performance, twin turbo V8, all this sort of stuff that you get to enjoy without it being too over the top. If you spend the same money on a Ferrari, every kid in the world and half the adults in the world are like, whoa, red Ferrari, wow, he must be rich and he must be this and that.
Which is embarrassing.
There's a lot of baggage that comes with it. So, I mean, that's what I like about wagons in that way. And I've always liked fast wagons, which is why this caught my eye. And also the fact it's not as ugly as a lot of these Beamers have been.
Yeah.
And the only competition that you can really buy in the market at the moment is an RS6.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. Anyway,
Would you have that or an RS6?
Oh, see, I would have said RS6 for a long time, but this is starting to win me over a little bit. I'm like, this is coming back to... There's things I like more about this, whereas RS6, some of the Audiness seems a bit like...
It's a little bit round.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit more something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got the good Beamer stuff going on. Same Mercedes wagons Mercedes generally suffer from that same kind of bulbousness.
Yes.
Not as bad in some models as other, but still bulbousy.
Yes.
Maybe we've been trained by so much JDM stuff that it shouldn't be that, and people would see this and be like, yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, I think you and I don't have the greatest taste in cars, to be honest. In terms of comparing that with like mainstream goals of what people want for cars.
Yeah.
Because most people are like, what is the ultimate when you get there? And the ultimate might be some kind of big, expensive SUV, Land Rover V8
Bright red,
kind
bright
of thing.
yellow Lambo.
And then you've got your Lambo, and they're the two cars you have. And I don't think you and I would have either of those cars.
All you are going to see is you're going to see more of this and more money being splashed around, because if anyone's seen the news, crypto has gone completely bonkers again. So you're going to see a lot more Lambo owners. And I guarantee there's more orders for Lambos in the last week, just based on that.
I actually saw a news item, but I decided not to talk about it.
Yep.
Legit, which was orders for supercars are higher than they've ever
there you
been.
go.
I
That
don't
was
know
a
the
guess.
actual.
That
I
was a
don't know
guess.
the actual stats for it.
Yep.
But it basically said living crisis. What living crisis? More orders for supercars than ever, because the people that have the money are probably like, hey, I want to do something fun with it.
Splash the cash.
Martin, quick one here. Honda Civic, including the Type R, there has been a recall on it. I'm just going to go to the actual recall
An
notice.
actual government recall.
Yeah, an actual proper recall
Wow.
from this website, which is vehiclerecalls.gov.au. Did you even know that existed?
I did, because my Lavorg was on it for a electronic handbrake issue.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, this one here is for the Honda. Actually, you can look at it yourself and make sure. I'm going to put a link down below, actually, in case this does affect you. But it's Honda Australia, Honda 24YM. See, actually, all the details are there, but it does include the Civic Type R. The defect is a defect which I think is interesting, because it's not actually about a mechanical thing, it's about the grease. And so it's the worm wheel grease may be displaced over time. If that occurs, The electronic power steering system, which is the EPS, may not operate as intended, which may result in abnormal steering noise and a greater steering effort. So I imagine that as you go to turn, you expect there to be a certain amount of assistance. That assistance is not there. Of course, because it's government, it says, could cause an accident, serious injury, death, that kind of stuff. So owners of the affected vehicles...
Could it though? Your steering still works. One of the things I like about electronic power steering, and not about cars that are steered by wire, is you're still physically connected to the road.
Yeah.
And you can argue and say, yes, but it might require more effort. And if that surprises you, that could be a bad thing. But at speed, it wouldn't require effort.
But the point is, and I don't know enough about technical, the point is if it's suddenly going to turn off during because some sensor goes... Because if you get a certain amount of assistance and you're just driving with a finger,
unexpected,
going 60 k's an hour, and then that system turns off, straight away your rubber is going to point you forward again, and whoa, it's going to slip. If you're driving like this, and that feels a little bit weird. So I guess under certain conditions, yes, that is a problem.
I've experienced this with I've experienced this exact thing with my Mira. My Mira has one of the earliest electric power steering systems. I think it was made by KYB. So we're talking late 80s, early 90s. And it does behave abnormally and it's cooked basically. So I need to replace it with something new. It's one of the reasons you haven't seen it on the channel for ages. It's got those kind of issues that just take ages to fix. But my plan was to replace it with like a more modern version. And this is interesting because what they're talking about is you've got the motor that actually connects to the steering shaft with a worm gear. So you can basically have a shaft that way and a motor that way. If you look under the dash of a car with electronic power steering issues, you've got a big bulbous motory thing, like where your knees are or just above there. And they're talking about the grease not surviving in there, which is pretty common as well for older cars. But these are only a year old.
It's a MY24.
So, fair enough. It's that new. Recall all day.
Yeah.
When they recall stuff that's 25 years old, I'm like, really? Like that was different times.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Last thing I just wanted to mention, big thank you to Al for coming up to help with the 240Z. He lives in a different state. For those that don't know Australia, he's like 1,000 Ks that way. So I just want to say a massive thank you for him coming down. He's a very, very wise dude. Check him out.
Instagram, Allied Performance Projects is the name of his business that he's had for a long time. He's still working on cars regularly. He posts updates on Facebook and Instagram. You can check out and see what he's up to. He's got, when I asked him, I said, have you got plenty of stuff to do? He's like, more than ever. He's got so many cars, so many cool projects that he's doing.
But Al, if you're watching, thank you very much, and thanks for coming down and sharing your knowledge with us. Martin, have you got any more news?
I do not.
Great. All right. It's time to kick into a big one that could potentially affect a lot of people watching this show. And the reason why it may affect you is because it might soon be illegal for you to watch the unicorn circuit. Every week on the show, we like to explore different legal rules and conundrums from around the world. Some of them are a little bit silly. Most of them are a little bit crazy. This one here is a real world one that has real world ramifications for you because potentially watching this show, depending on your age and location, may soon be illegal. Now, Martin, do you like YouTube?
Yeah.
Do you like, if you were 15 years old, would you have liked to watch YouTube and watch Mighty Car Mods and learn about cars?
Let's assume that YouTube has taken over forums because, give me 30 seconds on this one. I think it's important. When the internet started, obviously bandwidth's not a thing. Video on the internet was very difficult. Text wasn't. Text was good. So forums exploded, right? Because you basically just have words back and forth, BBS and stuff like that. Then you had images that came into it, still 56K, that old joke for anyone who knows of stuff taking ages to load. That's important as well. That's where DIY information went. If you were doing a build, if you were doing a build thread, basically, that's where it would go. YouTube has absolutely taken over that, I think. So if once upon a time, you would look up how to change my oil, bang, 1 million forum posts. Now, how to change my oil, bang, 1 million YouTube videos, 100%. So yes, that's where I would have been watching stuff to learn specifically.
Illegal.
Potentially.
So I think it's actually going to happen.
Yeah, really.
In Australia, the government is taking steps towards making it illegal for anyone under the age of 16 to access social media.
Yeah, wow.
They're actually going to legislate a minimum age. The minimum age will be 16. It's going to cover everyone that's under the age of 16, but it's also going to cover, even if you are an existing account holder, if you're a YouTube creator, obviously that puts you into a whole lot of trouble because who's your audience? If you're a creator of children's content, educational content, you're like a band that does kid songs and stuff like that, problematic as well. When's it going to start? We don't know exactly yet. We do know both sides of the government have agreed on it. The opposition and the main, they're like, yes, it's going to happen.
That's rare.
What platforms is it going to apply to? Obviously, TikTok,
Facebook.
Snapchat, Facebook, X and things like that. The real question is YouTube a social media network? Now, I would argue that it is not. I would argue that it's a streaming platform, mostly because I think the intent of going to YouTube is to look at content, plus get on your television and there's a YouTube app there that doesn't have comments or any way to kind of interact, maybe other than a thumb up or a thumb down. Obviously, there's lots of mental health issues. There's lots of things at play at the moment, but it is looking like this is going to pass. And it's also interesting whether game systems like Roblox and things like that, where you can interact with other people, is that social media? And also Reddit and Discord and many smaller websites may fall under the banner of what is being defined as social media, which still seems to be a little bit up in the air. It has huge ramifications for young people. For a lot of parents, I think it means that if you have Facebook on your phone, and your child unlocks your phone and looks at it, you could be guilty of a crime, the same way as if they accessed your cigarettes or something like that. How is it going to be enforced? I don't know. Will people find ways around it? Yes, they will, through fake accounts and other things. And the second thing that I want to say about this is that if you do have to be 16, once you're 16 years old in one day, how do you prove that you're that age? And that means that the social media networks and the Zuckerbergs of the world suddenly have a lot of private information about 16-year-olds that possibly they wouldn't have otherwise, because you're going to have to verify your identity and your age, which in a sense is kind of just giving them more customers because they're getting more data from you. So that is in play at the moment. In Australia, I went to a conference last week at YouTube and got to ask some questions and have some conversations directly about it. Is it going to happen? I think it is going to happen. Is it going to be able to be enforced and policed? I don't think so, not effectively. That's my feeling.
Let's have a little bit of a chat about where this is coming from as well for some background. So firstly, I just want to say, and this might be something you'd normally hear in Conspiracy Hat Cat, do the people and shareholders of Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitters, Snap, everyone, do they care about your kids and kids? And the answer is
no, of course not.
No, because it's a machine, it's a company, it's an artificial thing. It's not actually a person. Now, people that work there might be concerned about it, might put things in place. And I actually think there's already a lot of good work that's probably done in the background so that mostly it's a safe-ish place. But then again, the internet has never been a safe place, ever. So I think they're thinking that suddenly it's just social media that's done this is not the case. I remember being on chat rooms when I was a kid, and then random people would message it like it's no different. People would message you and be like, oh, what are you doing? And you just had this feeling, and it's like, block. Like, that's been a thing for a long time. What they're saying is it's the platform's job to now completely exclude people under a certain age to basically protect them. Now, I think the sentiment is a good thing, because I think actually without some form of regulation or some form of where people are caring about young people, because they are not adults. Their brains are not developed the same way that adults are to make those decisions. So unfortunately, bad things do happen. Do I think it's good that someone's in their corner? Absolutely. Do I think the tech companies care deeply about the well-being of teenage kids? No, I don't. So I think that's good, right? The conversation of how this actually pans out and what actually happens is where hopefully a good outcome happens, which is smart ways of actually regulating what people are consuming. The same way that TVs and movies have ratings. They've got ratings for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of works. I know kids still sneak into movies and watch MA15 when they're teens. I get that still happens, and there's going to be an element of that here as well. Blanket banning everything and saying no, this is, I think, the top line thing that happens, and then afterwards it all sort of works out in the wash, and I hope that we end up in a place where people that are young are not just excluded from a lot of the good of the internet, because let's be honest, if I wasn't able to go on forums when I was 15 and read about how to fix Geminis, I would not be doing this.
Yeah, and potentially there is a way of regulating channels that, I mean, you've got Instagram, people get their little blue tick, right?
Yeah.
Potentially, if you're, we spent some time the other day with some YouTube creators that just make kid stuff. That's what they do. They make kid songs, and kids educational stuff.
Too.
They're really good at it. They're
really
very well known.
Yep.
So then if you were watching The Wiggles or whatever it was, or they had a YouTube channel, if you're no one over 16 is watching The Wiggles, I don't think. I hope not. Otherwise, I mean, look, there's some other options out there for you people. But the point is that would be the end of those channels. So could they go, this stuff is safe? And if the social media gender aspect of it is the problem, which is obviously to do with body image, vulnerable teenagers, things like that. Could they verify it and go, look, this has been checked, this stuff's okay? Obviously, that is a huge job and a hard thing to police. It's interesting times, and I'd be interested to find out from you out there what your opinions are on it. What you would do if suddenly they said, hey, you can't watch anymore. Yeah. Would you find a way around it? They're talking about using biometrics and stuff to check your age. Either way, it's a complicated system, and it's one that I think is going to be... It's being done for the right reasons, but how it will be policed, I think, is going to be tricky.
Worth noting, we're looking at this purely from a media point of view. I appreciate that a lot of the social media problems they're talking about is bullying, and it's messaging systems, and it's stuff that's happening, in school. There's been in the news a lot of, stuff that has happened. We're looking purely at from a YouTube video about how to fix a car that a 16-year-old cannot watch is in our world. I know it's different for other creators as well, but that's the lens that we're looking at it through. But yeah, my hope is that out of this, the internet does become a better place, and I think pushing for it to be a better place, where you get all the good sides about learning how to fix a Gemini without the bad sides of the bullying and the content that really kids should not be seeing. And
could the world do without, if you're under 16, could you do without watching me and Al and Marty put an RB engine in a 240Z? Absolutely you could. But what if you're 10 years old and you're not sure about religion, gender, mental health, whatever, and you want to go and have a look at a YouTube video of someone that's your age that can chat with you about their experiences that you can watch and you can go, oh, there's other people out there. I think that stuff helps. And obviously there's a downside. I think overall it's good. The problem is also kids getting bullied at school, getting home, getting all these messages, and that stuff is 24 hours a day. When we were kids, you'd go to school and someone would go, you're shit. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. And that's it. And then, as people have said, they would then have to call your landline to go, hey, Marty, you're a dickhead. But when they'd call it, it'd go, because your mum's sending a fax at that time.
And they'd have 25 cents.
25 cents or 30 cents or whatever. Or they'd have to go, hi, Mrs. Mahan, is Marty there? Who's that? It's Johnny. Oh, Johnny, were you the one bullying? Yeah, what? Like, there was gateways.
Piss off, Johnny.
Yeah, there was gateways between them. Anyway, there's got to be some changes, and there's things that need to be done. I don't know exactly what those things are. I think it's a step in the right direction, but things are changing. It's
going to be interesting.
Mun, is it time for our new section?
It's time for a quick news section for you. This is car window shopping.
It's a new section where we look at cars for sale on the internet, and Marty will show you ones that he thinks are good, and I'll show you one too.
This is a new section called car window shopping. We spend a lot of time just looking at what cars are out there, secondhand, new, whatever it is, just to see what's happening. We often talk about the motoring news in this show as well, but we felt like some of the secondhand market particularly was being left out. And there's a lot of bargains to be had. But this week, it's not at all about bargains.
We're looking at cars this week, not under $5,000. No, we're looking at cars under $10,000. So the best cars we can find between $5,000 and $10,000.
That's next week.
No, that's this week.
So last week I did $25,000, and there was a lot of interesting stuff that came back of people just going, what is this?
That looks like it costs more than $5,000.
So I've 10x'd that budget. I'm like, I wonder what, because I went to the max. I go, what's the max?
We're not doing 10,000.
Well, you can, and we will. Don't worry. We're getting there. I want to start here so that we can contextualize.
Way more than $10,000.
That's fine. The car, I want to contextualize it with the M5 was the reason, right? So the M5, we're looking at the budget. I'm like, what else do you get for that amount of money? And here's the answer, people. This first example is an RS6 for 295. That's secondhand with 12,000 Ks in it. So someone has thrashed this thing
for
12,000 Ks, and it's an 8-cylinder turbo petrol RS6 thing. Maybe someone's matte blacked it or wrapped it and now thinks it's worth heaps more money.
We're looking at cars that cost over 200 grand or 250.
The lowest one I've got is just over 100, but as a general, I was aiming for $250,000 because it's similar to what that Beamer was before. Okay. So what else do you get? This is another one. So 2024 BMW i5. Like, that is the most plain-looking, boring POS I think I've ever seen, even though it's a colour I like.
What's an i5?
It's an electric one. It's a 442 kilowatts of electric power, and it's 500k range. So, like, if that said 2,000k range and a megawatt, I'd be like, now we're talking for $250,000, but it's not. It's like not much better than what a Tesla was 5 years ago. Again, this is interesting. So a Porsche Taycan is considered a wagon, also 460 kilowatts. Someone's put nearly 5,000 Ks on that, and that is $240,000. That is some serious bickies. I did see one up close when we went and did the Linus thing. He does drive a Taycan, and with a hectic wrap on it. Looks like a cool car. But I think he said like the CarPlay and Android Auto is like still pretty rubbish, which is hilarious. Yeah. For $250,000 and your phone doesn't work properly, you can't change songs.
Is that a Kia?
That Looks like a Kia Stinger wagon, doesn't it?
It does.
So that is a 2024 BMW M3 for $208,000. Also a brand new one. So that's brand new made to order. That's for a six-cylinder, 3-litre turbo.
It's just so much money for a car.
Yeah.
I mean...
So there's the same thing in white for a couple of grand less. Basically the same thing. Not that interesting. M3, so now the price is dropping. So 2023 BMW M3, 5,000 Ks on it, same thing. This I thought was interesting. 160 grand will get you a 2017 Special Vehicles Club Sport Commodore wagon with the LSA. So that means it's got the supercharger in it and all that, which is kind of cool. 50,000 Ks on it. Like someone's dailied that for a while, man. That is 165 grand. That's just scarcity. There's just not many of them. This I thought was interesting. A C-Class Mercedes. They're not big. They're the size of an M3. Same kind of class of car. Over 100 grand for that as well. And yes, it's 8-cylinder, 4-litre turbo. It seems like that sort of level of car requires that engine.
Seems cheap compared to the others.
It does. But also quite an old car, 2017.
Yeah.
Like that's coming up. That's coming up and pretty old. We're going even older now. For 111, you can get a 1970 Ford Falcon wagon with a 302 in it.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
Good luck with the sale.
Yeah, good luck. You know what? That clean and that old is going to get hard to find. I thought this was kind of cool. Chevrolet 150 looks a bit like that Bel Air thing that we drove around in Cuba.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
So I'm pretty sure this is a wagon version. A small V8 in it, 760 Ks on the clock. Who knows if that's legit? But also $115,000 for a car built in the 50s. This I thought was interesting too. Porsche Panamera, one of the ugliest cars I reckon that's ever been made, particularly by Porsche, who have made some very pretty cars. 6-cylinder, 3-litre turbo, 60,000 K. Still going to cost you 128 grand for a car built in 2018 and in one of the ugliest colours ever made.
Is that burgundy?
It's like burgundy or maroon.
Wow.
Should not be on cars. Anyway, so that's window shopping. Next episode, we're going to go a little bit down cheaper. But I thought it's interesting to see that's what the top of the market gets you if you can go and buy a brand new M5 thing like we saw, an RS6, or some of the cool stuff starts to appear. But there's nothing that you'll find for $250,000 that's kind of old. It's all new.
Well,
and even the collectible stuff is not hitting that kind of dollars, and it will sit there for a while.
I found something that is a little older, but better and cheaper than all of your cars.
Sure.
Let me introduce to you, Martin. Do you want to hear some information before I show you the picture?
That's what this is about. This is generally about cars here, man.
All right. Once in a lifetime opportunity to buy this absolute weapon. Mm-hmm. Rare car, full race car setup. That's about.
Does it say has oil?
It does. It does say has oil as well, and comes with an air freshener as well. Has a huge turbo.
That sounds good.
It says not rotors, and has all logbook services up to 2001. I would like to show you the incredible GR Echo. Look at that.
Isn't that from a movie?
No, that's the actual car, and that's the engine.
Has someone photoshopped a K series?
No, that's actually
turbo?
legit. No, that's actually legit.
Dude, that's not legit. That's a Toyota intake manifold and a K24 rocker cover.
Is it?
Yeah.
It looks fine from back here, weirdly.
If you squint.
And then over here, that's a shot of it doing a jump, which is pretty good.
That's fantastic.
And then also can do some rally, as you can see there. So
someone's actually painted the Lightning McQueen stuff on the side.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then I'll put the description up so you can see. That is available for only $35,000.
No lowballers. I know what I've got.
No lowballers. Has oil, worth $300. It says for that. Tyres have tread, maybe. Has huge turbo as well. Rally racing front light bar worth $700.
Why would you ever go and buy an M5 wagon when you could buy that?
When you could buy that. If that was your listing, and I got a feeling you're probably a Mighty Car Mods fan, I'm giving you a clap. Good job. That was really good. Next up, Martin, is it time for conspiracies?
It's time for Conspiracy Hat Cat. This week on Conspiracy Hat Tinfoil Cat, we are talking about, social media bans, not just in Australia. These are actually conversations that have been happening a lot. What has it got to do with cars, you might ask? Well...
Hey, Martin, what has it got to do with cars?
Oh, yeah. What you might ask...
What has it got to do with cars?
Governments around the world want to ban social media so that young people cannot learn and cannot talk about older technology. It comes into the right to repair thing. And they figure if people are interested in old stuff and learning how to repair old things and buy old things like that car we just spoke about, they will not buy and purchase the brand new shiny stuff that's coming off production lines around the world in the form of cheap EVs.
From China. That's where the cheap ones are coming from China.
At the moment they are, yes.
Yep.
Wherever the cheap ones come from, they will find a way into the market. That's how the free market works. But new stuff generates taxes. It promotes economic growth, but it downskills people who will end up with no skills, who don't know how to repair it because they never got interested in it because they never needed to. They just went and gone, that one will do. Beep, brrr.
But maybe they want to downskill us. You know what I mean? It's just like, we don't want you fixing stuff. We don't want you knowing things. Just be dumb. Just get your EV, drive around in it.
Yeah.
Keep spending money on stuff you don't need. We'll
Yeah.
keep trying to promote things to you that make you feel inadequate, so you've got to buy the things that we're selling.
Yeah.
And YouTube's used for all sorts of things now, from, serious political news and commentary. On the other end of the spectrum is the unicorn circuit. But everything in between is like how to cook, how to fix a car, education, how to whatever. So are you suggesting that they're trying to remove all of that from us, dumb us down, so we buy EVs?
I think, this is going to get a little bit ranty, I think one of the absolute most amazing, best things that ever happened in terms of the internet is the fact that people were just happy to
MySpace.
People were just happy to upload information, not necessarily for financial gain. And let's be real, that make a YouTube show and then you get some money for doing it to keep the lights on it. Yes, I guess that's a financial gain. But the original interest from the internet, people would pay for and host websites and participate in forums and pay for their own image hosting.
With enthusiasm.
Just with enthusiasm to share that knowledge, usually about things they're interested in, fixing things, gardening, cooking, whatever it is, all those things that people do recreationally, right? And cars is a weird thing where you can be a mechanic and do it not recreationally, or you can do what we do and do it for fun, and still manage to learn a lot. But I think that learning is really important. I think a lot of that learning has been institutionalized in the form of schools, universities, trade schools, which are all important things, but it's hard to get into some of those. Not everyone can do it. They may not have the means, they may not have the particular skills to be able to go and do that, right? What did the internet offer? It offered directly piped into your house, along with a lot of bullshit, let's be honest. It piped into your home this sort of information, and this is why I still look at the internet as a general net positive. I know some people don't. They think it's just a way for slop to be rammed down our throats, to order sloppy food, to be consumers, and just to consume stuff and generate economic turnover in the lower echelons of socioeconomics, so that a couple of the elite rich can just sit there on their private yachts and love life. I guess that's the doomsday way of looking at it. I still look at it as this place of this information. I've learned so much. I still continue to. Some of the comments you guys write about going, the reason the alternator was a field dropped and a particular rectifier didn't work, I learned something. But it's specific to the project that I was doing. Anyway, I digress. The point is with the conspiracy is that if you ban it all, that all goes away, and then the internet just becomes a giant shopping mall, which is what I don't see it as. I see it as a library. I see it as a museum. I see it as a gardening centre, as a tasty restaurant. I see it as all these things. I don't see it as just a mall selling some plastic shit. So anyway, that's the conspiracy there. Hopefully it's not
okay,
real.
It's all going to be all right.
Oh, no, I'm not worried.
Okay.
Like I said, I still feel good about it. But we need to consider bans like this. Both sides, whether it's a government thing or the tech companies trying to clamp down, they do the same thing sometimes. So they're like, let's just push more ads to people's threads or news feeds rather than things that might be interesting or creative or inspire them to do something. Let's just feed them more shite.
Fank of the week. Fanking is the delightful art of recontextualizing a product's name by taking a photo of it down near your crotch. We get these sent to us from all over the world. Some of them are too rude for the internet. You'll have to go and have a look at the Fanking group page thing. There's a link down below. We're just going to jump straight into it. First up, we've got the knob tumbler, Martin. What are you looking at over there?
I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see something. I wanted to see. Has anyone heard of this thing called Google Trends? And it basically just gives you a trend of what people are searching for over a certain amount of time. And I just looked up Fanking, and it's basically nothing for a decade. And then in 2024, there's one search for Fanking.
That was probably us when a few weeks ago we tried to find out what the true definition was, even though we defined it.
When was it? Was it a year ago? There's one spike.
That's
so
amazing.
on the 20th So on the 27th of October, there was a search for it, and that's the only time it's ever been on. And it was in New South
from
Wales.
us. No, it was us.
probably from
I think
us.
it was us. I think it's when we were searching for it because remember we were trying to work out if the definition was correct.
That's so good.
That's great.
Anyway,
Anyway,
not
Martin,
trending.
Number 1, the knob tumbler.
That looks like my drink bottle. Oh, look at the triple fank.
That's a double, and that's revolting. What's that thing?
Perfect as well.
That's
A
very good.
Schwarty, perfect, creamy.
Wow. Next up, moist and meaty, man.
I like that you can save some money on that because it's extra big.
That's pretty good because that's
They missed an opportunity there by it being a moist and meaty pouch. There's 60 of them too.
thick and big.
I want to
Cheese
eat
and
them.
onion chips, yum.
I want to eat them.
Batch fried.
I bet you that's from the UK.
Wow,
The best chips, man.
that looks pretty good. What's that one? That's a pork fill. Well done. That's
Bleh.
next up, a real. How did you take the photo?
That's commendable.
That-
Seeing that and then getting the thanking technique right, that's very, very clever.
Should we just give them Fank of the Week?
It's going to be hard to top,
Yeah,
but it's an intellectual one. I mean, it just said cock, which is neither here nor there. But it's the fact that
It's the real cock shot.
yeah.
That's pretty clever. I'm gonna just so you know, no one else
done.
cares, but you get the 2 thumbs up of
Two
approval.
thumbs, unicorn thumbs up of approval.
All right, next
Contact
up,
us if you want to run an ad where you get the fun thumbs up of approval for
Furry
your fishing
friends.
clash game. We'll tell you to go away because that's what we normally do.
furry friends.
Although I really kind of want to do like a fishing clash ad thing and then but anyway.
The banana slug. Oh. What is the banana slug? After a heavy rainfall, you might see a large yellow slug. I've read enough about that.
I knew
All
that
right,
was going to
Martin,
happen.
This might be the Fank of the Week, actually. This is the
Oh,
Go
I didn't notice the
Rubber
triple.
Stiff Cream.
No, it says Goanna,
Rub Stiff.
stiff arthur. Yeah, okay.
It doesn't quite make a sentence, but it's commendable because of the 3.
That's a
You know what I
salad.
mean?
That's a salad, isn't it? Like it's got all the stuff in there and you munch it, but it's not necessarily like a sausage roll.
Yeah, but it's very good and commendable. But that brings us to Fank of the Week, drum roll, please. Grandma Murphy's. Well done. Good job. Thank you very much for sending us in your photos. We would love to see more of them. And we will put the best ones on the show every single week. You can find that stuff at the Fanking Facebook group, which is the link is right there right now. Next up, Martin, I believe we have mailbag. We have one box to open this week on the Unicorn Circuit, and this one has come.
MCM Forever, number 1 4x4. We love Unicorn Circuit. I'm sorry, but you have ticked 3 boxes there,
the-
and it's got a picture that says "I heart my car." Whoa!
It's come from Sacramento, and you've spent $80 just on the postage.
Wow, that's very generous.
They've
Thank
sent
you.
it to PO Box 475, Sydney Markets, New South Wales 2129. Thank you very much.
Extremely generous.
That is a lot of money to get something to Australia.
It does cost a lot of money to get stuff here. We're a long way away.
It costs a lot to get it out of here as
You
well.
got to stay. Yeah, you got to stay, and that's a whole. Let's talk about tariffs. No, just kidding. We're not going to do that. It takes a lot of time to get between these 2 places.
But it's why, like, when you buy a poster, they're not getting like drop shipped from some other country. They're getting sent from right here in Sydney, Australia. What have you got in there, Martin?
Dude, Muddy Buddies.
What's that?
I don't know.
It's a Fank.
Dude, there's so many Muddy
Brownie
Buddies.
Supreme coated Chex snack.
Someone has sent us a serious amount of Muddy
Peanut
Buddies.
butter and chocolate coated Chex snack.
What
I
is
don't know
going on
Chex
here?
Is there a
More
letter
Muddy
or
Buddies.
anything, Martin?
What are these? Oh, dude. Tacky's Hot Nuts.
Cookies and cream. It's just Fanks,
Hot Nuts
basically.
Flair.
Hot nuts.
There's no note. Is there a note
Artificially
here?
flavoured double crunch peanuts.
This is an
Hot chili,
extraordinary
pepper and lime.
care package.
Is there a note?
I haven't found a note yet. I found I heart my car.
All right.
It's a fishing lure. It's a master baiter
Oh, good job, Martin.
fishing lure. Unicorns as well.
Who did this come
Oh,
from?
hang on. There might maybe in here. Nope. More stickers. More stickers. Mysterious gift with no note.
Half rabbit design. Is there nothing on the box, Martin?
Oh, hang on. Oh, here we go.
You found a
I
note?
designed these stickers for my friend's YouTube channel. Check out Stay Tuned TA. If you ever have some downtime, it'll be a lot of fun, like an American version of you guys. Oh, there's the little note.
Sweet.
Oh, it's tiny. I nearly missed it. Look, it's got. That's amazingly neat handwriting, by the way. Thank you very much. That's.
A lot of stickers.
Yeah, that is.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the snacks.
That is great design as well. Well
Here's
done.
the stickers. And that is Stay Tuned.
Fantastic. And if I'm not mistaken, T. Angelo, I think that's Tony Angelo of Motor Trend fame, who I think has a YouTube channel as well. If I've got that right. Thank you very much. Look at these snacks.
Amazing. Well,
Blown away with your generosity. Thank you very much. Mailbag is a very, very fun part of this show.
let's get on to Eat Bag. Every week on the show, we eat something out of the unicorn. Here they are. There was something else in there, but
these look
we're
off
going to
the
get to those later. Have you seen this unicorn that someone made us, which is amazing? It even has the chopped fingers on the back of it, which is amazing.
That is a quarter of a kilo, or roughly half a pound of snacks. This doesn't happen in Australia, by the way. Like, we're lucky to get 80 grams of a snack.
Yeah.
In something that size, it's all
anything.
air.
Hardly anything.
That is chunky, man.
Martin, we're going to try Tacky's Hot Nuts. This is hot chili, pepper and lime, artificially flavoured.
Bring it on.
Double crunch.
What's your chili tolerance level? You know they sort of rate it from 1 to 10 or 0 to 10.
I reckon 5.
You can handle 5.
Oh, I don't know what 5 is on your meter, but like I don't like when you eat it and then you can't taste anything ever again.
Masks it.
Tacky's Double Crunch Nut.
Are they hot?
That's a very, very crunchy nut.
They should be hot.
Limey, peppery, delicious. That was the show.
Oh!
Thank you very much for watching. 240Z episode
Whoa!
is out right now.
I'll wake you up.
Posters are available.
They're delicious. Oh my god.
These will be gone soon. Limited time only. And come and say good day to me and Martin and I, Wednesday night.
Drift night.
Drift
Be
night,
good. We are
Sydney
gonna
Motorsport
have
Park. If you don't have a
merch.
car, just come down and say good day.
You can just get a spectator ticket. Come drive down. They've got heaps of parking up the back of the racetrack there. Daylight savings now, so it's a bit lighter, which is cool. So we'll stay light a bit longer. We have merch. We get on the mic, say hello, talk some rubbish, check out your cars. It's going to be a good time. Hopefully I'll have something to skid. I don't know if I will yet.
We'll be making a video as well. So come down, say good day. They're fairly small, so it's kind of like it's an intimate event. An evening with.
Great fun.
If you click on driver's tickets and it says sold out, it does mean they're gone. But if you click on it now and it shows available, I suggest you grab one and we will see you on Wednesday night.
Heaps of spectator tickets, so that is easy. See you there. Thanks for watching Unicorn Circuit. See you next week. Probably, maybe, probably not, because we'll be busy. See you then. Bye. Bye.
Unicorn Circuit.
You good? We were just cleaning up and
Clean
we
up with
found
delicious snacks.
this. It says Martin and Moog in some of the nicest handwriting you've ever seen in your life.
If you ever wonder what happens after the Unicorn Circuit, it's pretty much this.
Well, then we clean up. We eat snacks and we clean up.
Oh.
But we got this
So
card
good.
that says, "Hi, Marty and Moog. Thank you for the years of content. You're the best. Enjoy some snacks from the US." From Forrest and Nikki, and Forrest is at Makamoto1 and Nikki is at Happer Rabbit. So thank you very much.
Forrest, his name is Forrest. I just
Sorry,
looked him up on Instagram.
sorry that we missed that before, but
I reckon-
we found it down there.
I reckon he owns a Subaru.
A Forester,
Yeah, you know why?
because his name's Forrest.
Because it's broken and because people go, "Run, Forrest, run." And
Goodbye.
because it's a
Turn the
Subaru, like
camera
it's a
off now.
Subaru
Turn
and
it off.
and it
Quick,
doesn't like,
no,
you know what I
now,
mean? Like
turn it
doesn't
off.
run